Today on the program, is Japan using tsunami money to kill whales? And the National Transportation Safety Board is trying to quiet your cell phone.
And we learned that I've grown up and become an adult. Have you?
Hello, welcome to the program. I am your host, Fat Man.
And I'm Littleboy.
And this is our webcast, netcast, podcast, every kind of cast for the third week of December, the week before Christmas, 2011.
Yes, sir.
Littleboy, Merry Christmas to you.
You too. Happy holidays.
You know, we have received so many comments on our last show.
Yes.
And if you have been watching through the new website, we want to thank you for that.
Yes.
Again, a tremendous amount of hits on the last show as well.
Blows me away. It just blows me away. It really does. How many people are watching?
It does. Well, because, you know, when you look at it through YouTube, it says like just a couple of views. I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? We've lost all our viewership. But apparently when you watch through the internet, through the website, it doesn't do something on YouTube.
Well, it doesn't count it. It counts it on the website, though, because we have the counter that we have on the website's a lot, so it doesn't really matter. Wherever you want to watch, it's fine, I'm just happy that you're watching.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've noticed right away or not, we're in our new set.
Yes.
We have colored lights and everything,
Yes.
so our color's supposed to be different. So you still look kind of pale.
Yeah. I'm always going to look pale.
And we have our Christmas tree up over there, and of course behind you and behind myself we have stuff on our bookshelves, and we kind of went with the law theme, the law office theme.
Because that's what we had.
Yeah, I mean that might change, who knows, but
for right now
that's what we got, so we're good with it.
It is nice to be in the new studio on the new set. Took us a lot longer to get going tonight, but we had bugs and we seem to have worked them all out.
Maybe.
So
if the sound is off a little bit, it's Littleboy's fault.
Yeah.
And I just want everybody to know that. So, but Littleboy, how was your week this week?
Week's been I've been pretty busy at work. Things have been pretty good. I wasn't feeling really good last week. I'm feeling a lot better this week. So how about you? I know you've been pretty busy.
It's been a very busy week moving stuff over to this set over here. Should we talk about upcoming stuff?
One of the cool things, it's not completed yet. So one of the things I'd like to do is maybe move the camera around and show, because we're actually going to have multiple sets here. But right now we only officially have our set up right now. Next week we're going to be running, we got another show starting.
Yeah, another show that's going to be hosted by PMLB. I don't know if anybody has noticed, too, the company name has changed to PMLB Media.
Yeah.
PLMB Media Group, but PLMBmedia.com.
PMLB.
PMLB. I don't know why I keep doing that.
That's a tough one.
I don't know, but that's the problem. It's going to be like that forever. My wife gives me trouble on that all the time.
Yep.
But, hey, I got to deal with it.
We're getting a lot of feedback from the announcement we had made on the last show about anybody who was interested in a podcast, and we already have a couple guys that are going to do a sports themed show. I don't want to announce the name of it yet. We'll be bringing them on. They're gonna start doing some stuff, and hopefully their show is ready to be seen in a few weeks. But they're very excited. I'm very excited. We're slowly growing. We got another couple shows in the work. We had talked about another one that we were working with a gentleman. We're still trying to get everything ironed out on that one, but it's really neat. It's really cool. And anybody else who is interested, you gotta contact us.
Give us a call. We'll sit down with you. And actually, on the two new shows that are going to be happening here, I got to give the credit to Littleboy. He worked his butt off getting that done, and met with everybody, sat down, talked to them, went over what they were talking about, and kind of felt them out, because we had a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I want to put on there, hey, happy birthday," I mean, stuff like that. But he actually did a lot of work on that. I really thank you. I'm glad that we have the third wall here, because in the third wall, for people who are not into the television scene, means that it's what we're looking at the camera. That's the third wall. On the opposite side of the camera is nothing but boxes from us moving in here.
Yeah, you can't see it.
But
Those won't be there next week. That'll be another set.
That's going to be another set on the opposite side of the room. So that works out.
Yeah.
Anyway, little boy, yeah, we have a busy show again today. Gosh, I want to start. Well, first off, we have an update, and I wanted to get out the update. Why don't you go ahead and do that?
Well, we had talked about them dumping ashes, the military dumping ashes into the landfills, and we weren't quite sure. I did quite a bit of research on this last week, and we wanted to be clear that it actually stopped happening in 2008. And it hasn't happened since 2008. And I know that the article did say it was happening again, but I think that they were referring to it had happened earlier and then it started happening again. But it did stop in 2008. I know it's just coming out in the news right now. I think that some reporters kind of dug up the records and stuff like that. But it's not something that is currently happening or has happened within the last few years. So we wanted to be clear on that.
We in changing over from just a couple of guys doing a podcast up through getting into media and working with press licenses and working with things like that, we have found out there's a few other things that we have to work with, and one is the fair use, which is what we're going to start messing with in the next couple of months. Actually, I hope to be sooner than that. But the reason why we want to make sure that the update is up there is we want to give the information as correct as possible,
as accurate as we know. We won't, it doesn't mean we're always going to be right, but we certainly wouldn't purposely deceive.
No, because that blows it from being a media,
right?
Which, and again, we're not, going out and getting news stories, although we are going to do some on the scene stuff. That's not us. We're just kind of the same guys.
We like to comment. What we're doing basically is commenting on stories that we see, but we want to make sure that what we are talking about is as accurate, and we are as accurate as we can be. I've been wrong before. You've been wrong before. You're wrong sometimes, but none of it's ever purpose.
No, we weren't purpose to do it. So again, sorry about that from last week. It doesn't make the story in my mind.
No, it's still disgusting.
It's still disgusting. I'm still angry about it. And I tell you what, it really upset me last week when we talked about it. And it just kept going. I just kept getting more and more upset about it. So
it just is nice that it's something that's not happening. The fact that it happened sucks, but it's not happening anymore. So that's good.
Little boy, we talked about Christmas.
Yep.
And you're pretty open with your views on Christianity and actually religion as a whole.
Yeah, not just Christianity.
Yeah. Religion as a whole.
Right.
As you tell me all the time, I believe in one more God than...
Right. I just believe in one less God than you. That's all.
I wanted to ask you some questions because, we've known each other quite some time.
Right.
And I knew...
Something about this is you're the first... You're the first person that I ever actually verbalized that I don't believe in God to.
I know. So you came out to me, and because it's Christmas and our families spend time together, and matter of fact, your daughter is here in the studio tonight. Of course, she's not gonna be on camera, but she's here. And
she did rock through the back of the camera one time.
She did
when we did the remote show
when I was in Notre Dame.
Yes.
And but anyway, Christmas. For a lot of people who don't believe, and I don't know if you've watched the news today, but there is a small community back east. I'm not going to go through the whole information because I know it's been hitting the news like crazy, that the fire department put up a banner, about Merry Christmas. And, they also said something about Jesus. And that's been a huge problem for the few atheists that live in that town. Oh. They're very angry about it. And like I said, that's not the story. What I wanted to see is, how does this time of year affect you?
It doesn't really affect me at all. I celebrate Christmas because it's fun to celebrate. I don't celebrate any of the religious aspects of it. And honestly, a lot of people who are religious don't celebrate the religious aspects of it either. I celebrate a tree and presents for the kids and family. And you don't need to be religious to enjoy all of those things.
But you grew up Christian. Correct?
I sure did. I grew up in we were pretty religious. I kind of had two different childhoods because my father and mom, they divorced when I was 8. And up until that point, we weren't religious at all. They, I assumed, they believed in God. We just weren't church going. We never really talked about it. They divorced. My father remarried. I lived with my father, and he remarried, and then we started going to church, and we became a church family. And I was very active in the church. And I did that for all the way through high school.
Well, and because that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Yeah. So what exactly happened just so I can understand. I mean, I know you asked me a lot about my religious views, so it's Christmas. I want to find out, what actually went on there.
Nothing bad happened. You hear about people who are atheists or whatever, and they had a really bad experience in the church, and that never happened to me. I had a great experience in the church. Honestly, what happened is I became an adult. I became an adult, and I stopped believing in fantasy. It's I kind of equate it to the same thing of Santa Claus. When you're really little, you believe Santa Claus. There's no doubt in your mind that there's a Santa Claus. And the older you get, the more you look at it, you start to say, wait a second.
But now I have to ask you, because you're saying you became an adult, and you stopped believing in fantasy.
I grew up, and I started looking at it.
So are you saying that people who are religious never grow up?
Well, I'm saying that they don't stop believing in fantasy.
But I would like you to explain that.
Well, because to me, God is fantasy.
To you,
yes.
God is fantasy. Okay.
And so you believing in that means that you still believe in fantasy.
To you.
Of course, to me.
Yeah. So, but the question is...
I'm speaking for me. I'm not speaking for anybody else. I'm speaking for me.
But nothing actually happened. No, you didn't have like this enlightenment or
No,
anything.
what's funny is
you just decided that...
I think that I started to realize it. I remember when I was in high school, we were together with some friends, and there was a girl there that was kind of a part of our group that she had, or kind of hanging out with us, that I had never met before, and we were talking about religion and stuff, and I had kind of said, I'm not really sure. Mm-hmm. I'm just not really sure. And she said, oh, you're agnostic, which is a term that I had never heard before at that point. And I said, is that what that's called? And she said, yeah. And I said, oh, okay. And for the longest time, I identified with being agnostic. And I think I actually really didn't believe. I just think that, religion is based a lot on fear. And it was a kind of a almost like a scary thing to say you didn't believe in God.
Well, were you Catholic, raised Catholic?
No.
Or?
No.
Interesting.
No, I was Christian, went to a non-denominational church. We went every Sunday. I was very active in the youth group, and I was a member of the church. I had been confirmed and all of that stuff.
But you just decided one day that was it.
It wasn't one day. It was, I think that I just started to question, slowly. But I never really said anything. I never really say anything to anybody until I told you that one day.
You'll tell me everything.
Well, that one day you for some reason you started talking about that, and I said I don't believe in God.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I'd ever said it. It was almost a little scary to say because
Well, I can understand, but so. I would like to explore, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but I'd like to explore your rationale a little bit. It's fine to not believe in it, but why would you say I grew up and I don't
Honestly,
believe in fantasy.
It's because it's fantasy to me.
To you?
It's fantasy to me. When you read the Bible and stuff and you actually look at it, and I actually have read the Bible from cover to cover. It's a tough read, by the way. It's a tough read. I don't know if you remember assigned reading when you were in high school, how tough some of that stuff is to get through. The Bible is way tougher than all that.
Reading it chapter by chapter, no, you can't
just
do
cover
that.
to cover. It's rough.
No.
And most people don't want to do that because there's a lot of stuff in there that's nonsense. There's a lot of stuff in there that doesn't make very much sense. And there's a lot of stuff that's pretty racist and bad,
Well, the question I have about that is, I know a lot of times you will bring up something that's in Scripture, and you'll ask me to defend it. But the real question is, can you disprove it?
How can you disprove something?
I'm asking you.
You can't disprove
because
it.
you always ask for proof, and I can show you the proof. The proof is there. It's written.
No
it's
proof.
written proof. But then
there's no
you don't.
proof,
You don't
can't prove a negative.
that.
You can't prove a negative.
Well.
So what you're asking for? You're asking for the impossible?
Not really.
Yes, you are.
That's the argument. That's the argument you always go back to.
You can't prove something didn't happen.
But that's the argument you always go back to. Well, I can't prove it. Well, of course you can't prove it.
No, you can't prove a negative. What you are asking for is impossible.
But yet I can prove a positive, but that's not acceptable.
Because you haven't proved anything. There's no proof of anything in the Bible.
There's no proof?
There's just the Bible.
So you're not here right now?
There's lots of that's not because of the Bible. That's not because of God.
It says in there why.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that that's it. That's not proof.
That's proof. What would you accept to be proof? Because you'll take a news article that's written by man, and you'll accept that as proof.
I'll believe it. I don't know.
But
if we've ever really talked about.
You don't accept as proof Another thing that was written by a man.
Well, what about? Let's take Horton Hears a Who. Is that a true book by? Is that proof? It's written by a man.
The author writes it as fiction.
But what if he didn't? Would you believe it then?
If he didn't write Horton Hears a Who as, well, isn't that a ridiculous argument?
Well, it's just as ridiculous as yours. You say it's written, and it's just because it's written doesn't mean it's true. Just because it's written and it says it's true doesn't mean it's true.
But the things that it describes were true. I mean, there's not just the Bible that describes that Jesus was on the earth.
What else describes that?
Not just the Bible that you read. Jesus is in the Torah, which is a different Bible. I mean, different thing. He's also in the Quran.
Whether Jesus existed or not is a completely different argument.
No. I'm just asking you, what would you be proof? Because because you give me trouble. Well, let me hold on a second. You give me trouble because you say, well, you listen to Fox News. Yeah. Okay, and then I say, okay, then what would you accept? And so then you'll give me a list. Well, first on your list is always CNN and then MSNBC. It's always, and you'll give me that, and then you expect that is it. That is the truth. But then when you see another truth, everybody who believes that is fantasy land.
First of all, we never.
No, that's not true.
You're comparing different things because we don't talk about when we talk about stuff in the news. We don't talk truth or not truth. We're talking more of a slant.
I'm not talking about on the show. I'm talking about in life.
When we argue
because you believed like crazy. It's funny because and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you should watch. We have a new segment that came out. If you didn't see it last week, we have it this week as well. Is This Week in News? Even at the end of that, you were talking about Al Gore, and I remember during the hanging Chad thing, you really believed some kind of hokey pokey was going on there, and it's the same. Well, all I'm saying is, I have. If you want to be the way you're at, I never push on you, ever.
Right.
But you could turn around, and you do all the time, to ask me to prove things, because you'll come up with one little tiny scripture in the Bible, and you'll say something about it. But if you don't believe it in the first place, why would you even waste your time saying
When I do that, it's because people, and you have done this before as well, when you make a decision, like let's say like gay marriage and stuff, you say because it's in the Bible. And you have said that to me before.
Yeah, because I believe the Bible.
Right.
But you don't.
But what I'm saying is if you're going to choose something like that, why don't you choose everything? And you don't, because they talk in the Bible about, owning slaves and all sorts of stuff.
But you don't believe in it, so why do you care?
Because it's something for us to argue about.
Oh, so that's all it is. So basically, it's just the arguments.
Well, if you are going to pick and choose stuff from the Bible, then I can pick and choose and stuff from it too. Whether I believe it or not, doesn't matter.
But the question to me is, you really haven't shown. I hope I didn't break that. You really haven't shown why you are. I don't care why you are, but your excuse for why is because you grew up.
I grew up.
Well,
I became an adult. I'm an adult.
So you don't really have a real argument.
What kind of an argument?
You keep saying that you're an adult. So you're saying that every single adult, because that's what you're saying. You became an adult. So every single adult who believes in it is not an adult. They're not. That's what you're saying.
No, I don't know if that's quite what I'm saying. That's what worked for me. That's how I realized. Everybody's different. I became an adult. I started looking at things from a different perspective and a different point of view, and I started thinking for myself instead of just going by what was told to me, and it started to not hold water anymore. All the stuff that I had learned in church, to me, didn't hold water. It was all fantasy.
So that's what you did. So you saw that the fantasy side of it.
I started to see it. It wasn't like something that just clicked one day. It was a very slow process. It just slowly.
Well, give us an example. Give us all an example, and we'll go off this case. The fantasy. Give us an example.
Noah's Ark.
Were you there?
No.
Then how do you know it's fantasy?
I don't know it's fantasy.
Then there you go. All right. So we'll go to the next case.
Whoa. What does that mean? That doesn't mean nothing.
You cannot prove anything is fantasy.
Were you there? Were you there?
No.
So you don't know it's real.
But
that's the same argument. But that's the same argument. So you're believing what somebody else tells you.
Of course.
All right. I choose to look at it myself, and I look at it, and
you weren't there.
From the evidence that I see, which is
did you actually do research? Did you actually do research other than the Bible? Have you actually done research?
I've absolutely looked at research for Noah's Ark.
Really?
And I couldn't find anything that convinced me that it really happened.
So you didn't find anything about the seas and how they were much higher, and how you and I at the desert have found seashells.
I found stuff that showed that there could have been a flood in a specific area.
But
Noah's,
I'm going to ask you
the story of Noah is the whole world flooded.
So I'm going to ask you a simple question then. Mm-hmm. Is there any possibility at all it could have happened?
Absolutely.
Well, then there you go.
But that doesn't mean it happened.
No, it doesn't. All I'm saying is there is a possibility.
Well, of course there is. I'm willing to see. That's one of the big differences. I still believe it's fantasy. No, I still believe it's fantasy
because there's no possible way.
No, that's not what I said. I didn't say no possible way.
I know.
You're throwing words in.
No, I'm not. I'm just simply asking if there's a possibility.
Of course.
And then there you go.
There's a possibility that we are in the Matrix right now.
Who knows?
Right.
But the thing is...
But I don't believe that we are. Do you believe that we are?
In the Matrix?
Yes.
No.
Have you seen proof that we're not?
No.
So then, how do you believe that?
If somebody believes that, and they're an adult, I'm not going to say that they're a fantasy person in fantasy world.
You wouldn't say that? You wouldn't say somebody's living in a fantasy? If somebody believed that we actually were in the Matrix, you would not think that they lived in a fantasy world.
What I tell... If let's okay here I gotta phrase it the way I want you to understand it, because I know you like to do that. If there's someone who thinks that we're that way, I'd leave them alone. I'm not like you. I wouldn't constantly.
No, I'm not. Wait.
Constantly
That's not what I do. I don't go constantly bother people.
Oh, you constantly drive me insane.
But we're buddies and we're friends and we do that. That's our relationship. I don't go out there and just start talking to people about why I think they're dumb for believing in God, or why I think they live in a fantasy world. I don't do that. I don't go down to churches and say, you guys are all crazy. I don't do that.
Well, you just said on national, more than that.
You asked me a question. You asked me a question.
What do you think? And you said all adults who believe it are
living in a fantasy.
Yeah.
World. So that's my belief.
Yeah.
That's my belief.
But that's what you're saying.
Yeah, but I don't go out there and go telling everybody that. I'm just talking to you right now. You and I are talking. If other people are going to watch this, then they're watching this, but I'm not. I'm talking to you.
Okay, then the question to you is...
And you're making it look like I'm out there saying stuff like this to other people, and I'm not like that.
No.
I am just saying that to you. You're referring to arguments
you do put your beliefs into everything, though.
No, with you and I.
Yeah.
So do you.
No, I don't bother you that much.
You live your whole life with beliefs.
Yeah, but I don't bother you about it. I'll leave you alone.
You do.
I'll leave you alone.
Bull.
But you.
Bull.
When have I ever pushed you to go do anything,
dude? I didn't say push me to do stuff, but you're always trying to just tempt. Poke the bear and. The other day, this whole thing started with you texting me, guess where I'm at? I'm at church. You should come down here. Maybe you'll catch on fire. I think that's a bit of instigation.
Yeah, okay.
That is our relationship.
Okay.
But you can't push the way that I relate with you out to everybody else, because that's not true. That's not how I am.
But you did tell the whole world. The whole world and space.
I told you, and if they listened, then they listened.
Well, the main reason why this came up is because I do see, and
I do like arguing about religion, but not just. I'm not interested in just going out there and arguing with everybody. I like arguing with you.
Yeah, I know,
on religion,
but you're saying it's the same.
It starts to upset you a little bit.
No, it doesn't upset me.
Don't lie.
What upsets me is...
You always try to say you're not upset. It's so funny. Yeah, if you want to see him get upset, watch last episode. He got a little bit upset.
Yeah, but I got over it instantly.
Of course, but you still got upset, and then you tried to say you didn't.
All right, listen. The question, and the reason why this came up is because we are hanging out around Christmas, and and the people who are complaining about that banner, there's like 3 people in the whole town.
Well, the thing is, honestly, if it's the fire department putting it up, it's
why
they shouldn't put it up. Now, this is the way I look at stuff like that. I personally am not going to make a big deal about it because should it be there? No. Am I going to go out there?
Why shouldn't it be there?
Because the fire department is part of the state.
So what?
The state shouldn't adopt a religion.
So the state didn't. The fire department the firemen put it up on their own.
Who owns the fire department?
The firemen put it up on their own.
On the fire department property?
No. It's in the middle of the town.
Is it on the town's property?
It's, yeah.
Well, then it shouldn't be there.
Why?
Because the town should not adopt a religion.
Well, I have a question for you then. If I if the town has 99%.
I say that, first of all, I say that, but I'm not big on let's tear that stuff down. Should it be there? No. Am I going to make a big deal about it and actually fight to get it down? No, because it's not worth it. It doesn't offend me, it shouldn't be there, but it's not a big deal. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I can't keep you going up.
The whole crosses thing that were up, should they have been there? No.
I know, though.
Would I have liked them? Would I have liked them to come down?
No?
Yes. But did it really matter to me? Not really.
But where's the argument there? You just automatically say no. No, you automatically say no, and I don't understand why they can automatically say no.
If it's up on public property, you shouldn't adopt one over another. I'm not even, let's throw atheism completely out of it, okay? Mm-hmm. But why should one be preferred over another? Why should one religion be preferred? Why not a Star of David?
Well, put it up.
No, but why are you, okay, I'm just going to pretend like you wouldn't have a problem with that.
Would I have a problem with Judaism?
But how many Christians would? What if you wanted to put a symbol of
They would
anything?
have nothing to complain about.
What about? But they would.
Well, let them. But they would have nothing.
I don't even know what a symbol of Muslim is, but
it's the crescent moon.
Okay, if they want to put that up, you would have a whole lot of people throw a fit about that. Now, whether you would or not is a different story. But a lot of people would throw a fit about that. And I just think that when you put a cross up or when you put praise God or any of that stuff, you are choosing one over another, and it's not supposed to be like that.
Our Constitution allows for religious freedoms.
But not by the government and not by the state.
But that wasn't at the beginning.
Yes, it was.
That wasn't how the Founding Fathers decided to do it.
Yes, they did.
They said that you can go out and do
but the government will stay out of it.
Yeah. So the government's out of it.
So if it's government-owned land...
So are you saying these firemen that are all...
Put it up at their house. Put it up at your house. You own the house, put it up on your house. But why put it up on state-owned or property owned by the government or owned by the state or owned by the country? Why do you have to put it on there?
But why not?
Because the state or the government is not supposed to choose one religion over another.
They're not.
They are. If you put up Jesus Christ is our Savior...
They're not choosing anything.
Or whatever, they are choosing one over another.
What they're doing is saying, put it up.
No, they should
put it up if you want it. If you don't want it, don't put it up.
But not everybody.
See, because the thing is, if you turn around and said, okay, 90% of the people want it,
doesn't matter,
and only 10% don't,
doesn't matter.
The government is for the people,
but not religious. They can't pick one religion over another.
Then you're actually saying atheism wins because they don't want it up. So you're saying
I'm saying you put it up on your house.
Atheism.
Why? I don't understand why you can't.
Atheism is a kind of a religion. It's a religion to believe not.
It's not it's tough to define because it really is. I don't know if it's a religion it's just no religion. It's nothing.
Yeah, it's to not believe. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can work it either way. So basically, you're saying we can't put that up.
But not only do I not believe God, I don't believe in.
I want to ask this: we can't put that up because it's against atheism.
No, it's against.
So it's against the religion of atheism. Atheism's religion
the Constitution. You're not supposed to choose one religion over another. What I don't understand is why do people make such a big deal about wanting to put religious stuff up on public land? Why don't you put it on your house? Why does it have to be on public property?
Why can't it?
Why does it have to be? Why can't you just put it up on your own house?
Because if we want to, we want to.
But
they're not saying you can't put a banner up right next to it that says there's no God. Do it.
I know the atheists out there do put up billboards and stuff like that.
Put them up.
And people throw fits about it.
Of course they do, but they have a legal right to put it up.
I think that...
What were you going to just say? You were just about to say you agree.
If you... we're talking about something a little bit different there because it's a billboard and you're purchasing that.
Go ahead.
Because if you purchase a billboard that says, come to our church, keep the Christ in Christmas, whatever garbage they want to put up on there, that's their right to do that because they purchased it, But on public property, what if, on public property, I don't think it should be there.
See... The problem I have with it is,
not that I'm going to throw a big fit and fight about it.
No,
we
I
talked
know,
about
I
that.
know.
I see religious symbols all over the place. It doesn't bother me. Usually it makes me laugh, especially when you see like on a car, it's big right now. The bumper stickers say, let's, keep the Christ in Christmas. And it makes me laugh because I'm saying, who is trying to take Christ out of Christmas? Really?
we talked about it last episode.
Nobody's trying to take Christ out of Christmas.
We talked about that last episode. But what I'm saying is, and I don't want to keep going on this, I think we've been 30 minutes on this. I'm sure everybody's bored. I would not have a problem putting up anybody's religion if they want to. And since I believe that atheism is kind of it is their own religion, they believe not to believe. They put stuff up. Yeah, people are going to complain, but you know what? It's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
The problem is, if you want to include all religions, there's not enough space to put it all up.
Well,
so who gets left out?
There is.
Who gets left out? If you decided you wanted to put, Jesus Christ is Lord on the front wall of City Hall, let's say, or whatever, there's not enough space on there to put everything. So is it first come, first serve?
I believe
if you're late, if you snooze, you lose.
I believe this is, and then we can end it now, so we can go to the next one because I know you have some things in there. That atheism is the religion of not believing, and they don't want it there. That is their banner. Their banner is no banner. So what you're saying is, they can put their banner up, which is the no banner. No.
Because then what you're saying is, everywhere that there's nothing, atheists are winning. That is a terrible
and we
argument.
want to hear what you think about this. So what we're asking is, please send us in.
Yes.
We're going to put your information on the internet and also on our next show. And if you want to talk to Littleboy about it, we want to hear from you.
Call in. I'll be happy to talk to you.
Let's go to the U.S. calls for a ban on cell phones. This is something that you sent to me.
Yeah, this is a very interesting. They've been talking about. I know in California. I don't know how far out this, but they have the hands-free law that they passed a little while ago.
Yeah, I think there's 12 states that have that.
Yeah,
California's
one that adopted it.
But it's complete hands-free. You can't text. You can't do anything. You cannot touch that phone. $500.
Right. And now the Transportation Safety Board recommended, it doesn't mean this is a law, but they recommended that you can't use phones at all, even hands-free, even Bluetooth.
Well, that's Deborah Hersman. She was sworn in on August 4th, 2011 for her second term as the NTSB chairman. Mm-hmm. She became chairman on July 28th, 2009. She was nominated for her second term by President Obama. She actually is spearheading this, and I watched her speech on this. The National Transportation Safety Board is they're the people who when an airline crashes, they'll go over that whole thing and
they make recommendations.
And they make recommendations. They cannot make law.
Right. They're not binding. None of it's binding. It's just this is what we recommend, but a lot of their recommendations are accepted and they do make laws out of them.
Well, so where is your first off, getting rid of all electronics, and if you read through it, the only thing that pretty much was excluded was GPS.
Right.
So, but we're talking iPods.
Yep.
But we're talking radios in your car.
Yep.
We're talking if you have an interactive dashboard. There's some of the new vehicles coming out. Ford is big into the interactive dashboard.
Yep.
We're talking about anything electronic.
Right.
So what do you think about this?
Well, I heard a really good argument a few years ago, actually, when they first started talking about banning phones from driving and stuff. And I'm not always, I'm not a guy that always goes along with like the big business and all that type of stuff. But the cell phone companies the guy made a pretty decent point, and it is why are we picking on just the cell phone companies? If you're going to make a law, why not make the law no driving while distracted? Because there are so many other things besides a cell phone. You can get in an accident eating. You could drip your burrito on your lap,
soda,
drinking. I was talking to a gentleman at my work about this exact subject because I knew we were going to talk about it, and I kind of was trying to get a feel. And he said, what about people who bring their little dogs in the car.
Like I do.
Yes, like you do. And I've driven around, when I took your dogs when you left, I've driven around with your dogs in my car before. And, it's a little distracting when they're on your lap, but, just like using a phone or whatever. But why are you choosing one over the other? Why? It doesn't seem fair to me to just pick on electronic devices when there's so many other things. The problem is you make the law that says you cannot drive while you're distracted. Now it's not like the letter of the law anymore. You're leaving it up to the discretion. Yeah, there's too much gray area.
You can't have that.
It's really, really tough because everybody is for safer. Nobody, how many times have you been on your motorcycle and almost gotten ridden off the road and you look and you see the person's on their phone?
Yeah. There's two different things. In the United States, we have something called codified law. And in codified law, it has to be written down and kind of to the point. You're not supposed to have gray areas. In England, they have what's called common law, and common law is up to interpretation. Well, right. You really shouldn't be distracted, so I'm going to say painting your fingernails, that's distracted. Or
exactly, makeup, shaving,
talking to the person in the back seat. Well, that's distractive driving. So we're going to go ahead and do that. But in the U.S., it has to be spelled out, which is good, and it also has to be posted somewhere, so you have to be able to get access to it. But how does this compare to other laws that are on the books? Because you know how I feel about laws. There's too many.
Right.
And when you keep adding more and more and more, we have laws on the book. In California, we have a law you can't be on your phone.
Right. When you start making laws, and if you have to be specific, we've talked about this on so many other subjects. Everybody has a different line, so right now they want to put the line at electronics. Some people might think it's at dogs. Some people might think it's at burritos.
Right. It's too much.
Some people might think it's at talking. Everybody's got a different line, but
I want Mexican food now.
Because we've been talking about burritos and chihuahuas.
Yeah, guess what? We're going to Mexican after this. Anyway, go ahead.
But, where is the line? It's almost the only thing that I could think of is I don't like people talking on the phone, but
there's a law for that. Don't do it.
Yeah, but even with the hands-free, most of the problem is caused when you're dialing anyways, right?
Well, they say that 3,092 people were killed in 2010 for distracted driving. Mm-hmm. Now, that's what they said for distracted driving. They didn't say it was exact cell phones.
Right.
What do you do with all the truckers who are very lonely and they're trying to stay awake and they're on the phone?
Right.
And what do you do with the businessman who is out making money, paying taxes, helping this country? And what do you do with people like you and I who are talking about the show? I mean, or hey, honey, I'm going to be late, right. Or I forgot the iron on, please shut it off. And what do you do with that? Do you just say, hey, all that stuff is no big deal?
Because you'll hear an argument where people say you pull over if you needed to do any of that.
But what I'm saying is I believe that although it's horrible, 3,000 deaths, I mean, that's right. Ridiculously horrible, that who knows what the far-reaching effects would be of absolutely no cell phones. Because, I bet you don't know this. A lot of people don't know this. You cannot watch a television while the vehicle's in motion.
Right. My father used to be in the motorhome industry, and he used to have clients that would come in and ask them because the TV that was at the very front of the motorhome, as soon as you started it, it would shut off and they would want him to bypass it, and he would have to explain to them it's against the law. Now, some people choose to do that anyways, but he would not do it because, you can't, you're opening yourself up to all sorts of trouble.
Well, but what I'm saying, and the reason why I'm saying this, what I was talking about those things is there's laws on the books for everything. So you're not, in California, you can't touch your phone. You can't touch your phone in California. You have to have voice dialing. I
didn't know that.
Yeah, you cannot touch it. Yeah, if your vehicle is in motion and not parked at a stoplight. I mean, if it's
right,
your keys in it and the car's in drive, you are not allowed in California to touch your phone. You're not allowed to touch your phone to change if you have an iPhone and you're listening to your iPod app on it. You're not allowed to touch that phone.
Really?
That's what California's hands-free law means. It is absolutely hands-free.
You know what else? I'm backing up a little bit because one thing I wanted to mention, another thing that they've been doing research on is trying to make the phones where if the phone is actually moving in a car, it will be disabled.
Yeah, and what the heck's there? What if you see something going on? Oh my God, I'm behind of a drunk driver and I'm watching the drunk driver swerve all over.
What they said was the reason why that hasn't happened yet is they can't quite nail down the technology that would make the phone disabled when the vehicle's driving, but still be able to have you dial 911, because they don't want you to lose 911. And they haven't. I don't think they've nailed down the technology yet. But how would you feel about your phone being deactivated now?
If I was a passenger, I'd be upset.
Exactly. So how do they? I don't know.
It's a stupid law because it's another way of throwing more laws in. But I want to throw one more law out there real quick. Every state in the union has a law about drinking and driving. Mm-hmm. You cannot. Simple as that. So yeah, they could say right now
the percentages are different in each state. The amount, still, what's technically considered drunk driving is different in each state.
It used to be 0.10, and then it went to 0.08.
But some states are still 0.10.
I don't think it's many.
I think but there are still
because
some.
you can't get the money for the federal highways because that's what they came up with. But anyway, so you can't do it. Well, in 2009. There was 10,839 DUI-related driving deaths.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what are you going to do? You throw another law out there. You keep throwing these laws out there. It's just like the gun control laws. It's the same thing. The law's already there. Enforce what you have. In California, you're on that phone, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Other states could adopt it or not. I believe in states' rights. I always have. Except for the marijuana law here in California.
All this, yeah. How convenient. How convenient.
No, but really... But the thing is,
that sums you up right there.
The thing is, this is just another way of throwing another law out there, and I think that the National Transportation Safety Board really needs to think, hey, look, let's go down to one.
It's their job to make recommendations. I think that the states or the government needs to make a decision, based on those recommendations. I don't really have a problem with the National Transportation Safety Board making this recommendation, because all they're doing is they're looking at it and say, they can also say, they can also release something to say, if you can make a car not go over 55 miles an hour, everybody be safer too,
Yeah, but I mean, come on.
So,
that's and the only thing
it's up to the states to whether or not they're gonna adopt it. I just don't think that they need to adopt everything that they say, and I'm still quite not sure if I'm on the where I actually stand on this or not. Just because it almost seems a little, the whole thing just seems a little not fair to me to just attack cell phones. And I'm not a big, like I said, I'm not here to defend the cell phone companies, or anything like that.
I'm kind of surprised on you a little bit, because you are a little more, you like more law, but I'm not surprised on the cell phone thing. And plus, I think it's just ridiculous.
It's just trying, everybody's got a different line. The problem is the more years go by, the more technology there is. So they're going to have to. The more technology is, they're going to have to be more laws. I know you're not a big fan of laws, but how often do they take laws off the books? Hardly
never.
Ever. But every year they add more laws because they have to. They have to. Because more things are out there.
Yeah, but they can get rid of others. They can just use the laws that are in effect. In California, should say, thank you. We're done. We already have it in effect. You can't do anything. And not only that, on our motorcycles, the GPS that are on the motorcycle, if the motorcycle is going forward and you touch the buttons on it, nothing happens.
Yeah, I know a lot of GPSs don't allow you to do stuff with them while it's moving.
So, you know what? They got nothing to complain about on that. Before I take another drink, though, let's go on to the next category, because we are getting late. This is a video that I watched from Fox News, because I love Fox News.
Of course you do.
But anyway, it was O'Reilly talking about voters and what voters really know. I did some research today, and I found some really neat things from the Pew Research Foundation.
Mm-hmm. That's a non. Is that?
Well, they're supposedly bipartisan.
Yeah.
They have a lot of issues there, but I don't care. I was reading some different things, and of the voters, there was in 2008. So I'm going to go to 2008 because they're neat, the research, but they're not up to date always. You know what I mean? They're up to date with how people feel about the president and how people feel about the candidates and blah, blah, blah. But I'm talking about big things like this particular thing, because I do a lot of counting. In 2008, there was 299 million people, a little more than that, of our total population. Of that total population, 225,746,457 were over 18 and able to vote. Well, actually, over 18.
245 million, you said?
Yeah, did I say that?
I don't know.
225. But now over 18. Now, you can't vote if you're a felon.
Right.
So you got, some other people you can't vote, or, and there's other reasons why they can't vote. But The total number
Can't vote if you're not registered.
the total, no, but they can vote. I mean, you can vote. You just have to go do it. Okay. And, even if you're not registered, you can vote. Did you know that? You can go to the registrar's office and vote.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They can't stop your vote ever.
Well, that's good.
Why do you do this to me?
Advantage of it.
Yeah. Now, in the 2008 election, it was actually one of the highest voter turnouts ever, and it was because young people voted.
Well, why do you think, though?
Because it was the highest young people vote ever.
Why?
Social media. I really think that Facebook and everything helped.
I think that it's a lot of people were fed up.
Well, we're going to get into this a little more because as I sent you a link about earlier, and it's also on the website, is the young generation and how the younger generation voted for Obama the first time around. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to go over a Harvard poll with you in a minute, but let's do this.
Sure.
So 54% of the population voted. Now, if you take that 54% and ask them real issues, what would you come up with? What do you think they really know?
Well, there's so much out there. I mean, it depends on the issue. There's a lot of stuff that I pay attention to, and I could have an intelligent conversation with somebody. And there's much more stuff out there that if you just started talking to me about something, I might not have a clue about what you're talking about. I think it depends on the subject, I think that some people, now there are some people out there that just don't pay attention, and that's their right to not pay attention, I'm not exactly. You did send me this link. It was a video. I didn't have a chance to watch it, so I'm kind of coming in cold here, which is fine. I come in cold to a lot of the stuff we talk about. But I had a conversation with my youngest daughter about voting.
The one that's here?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And we were talking about voting, and I was explaining to her how I vote. How. Because we did get an email, and somebody asked if I voted, if you remember.
Yeah, so, I didn't put it on there because we've been getting so many emails bashing you, and I won't do
really
that.
that big of a bash.
It's a bash. Okay. I'm done with the bashing. Nobody bashing me. Somebody bashed me. Actually, that's not true. Mike bashed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike bashed you.
Yeah.
He hasn't emailed back. I can't wait till he does. But yes, I do vote, but I read up on the issues that interest me, or or I learn about the issues that I'm interested in, and that's what I vote on. You do not have to vote for everything on a ballot. If you are just paying attention and interested in the president, then you just vote for the president, because by the time you get to the ballot, there's all sorts of local and stuff, and it might be people that you've never heard of, and to me, it doesn't seem right just to click a name because he's a certain party, he or she is a certain party, or it's somebody that I might have heard of. Because a lot of times you just see the signs everywhere all over the city.
A lot of people win by name recognition.
Yeah. Or, and you see all these different propositions, and I hear a lot of people say, if I don't understand it, I vote no. And I think that I actually did that one time.
Propositions mostly, except for Prop 13, which we were both too young to vote for. Well, no, we were. Propositions usually always mean money.
Yeah,
that they're gonna take your money.
Yeah,
so I always vote no.
I try, I try and read up on it, and if I read a little bit of it and it doesn't convince me, I vote no. But if it's something that I just don't have any idea, I skip it. You can leave blanks on the vote. You don't have to vote for everything. And that's what I told her. I said, if you're not sure, leave it blank, because you certainly do not want to influence the wrong direction from something that is not good for you.
So the question I have for you is, although that election was really high, they expect this next turnout to be a lot lower.
Yeah.
Because the new Harvard poll that came out today said that most of the kids that were younger that voted in 2008 decide now, as they're older, that they wouldn't be voting for the president, and only 36% of 18 to 29-year-olds believe they're going to vote at all.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty low. Mm-hmm. We're back to that again.
Yeah.
But the question there is, would you believe? I totally want to get your opinion on this, because I know what my opinion is. Who do you believe the more informed voters are? People who, how do I ask this? Because I want to ask it, but I want to see, what party would you say has more informed voters, as a general rule?
Well,
knowing that the Democratic Party is a lot bigger than the
Unfortunately, it's interesting because I think the Republicans think that they're more informed. I think a lot of them are misinformed. I think a lot of people vote against what's best for them. I think that they're misinformed, but I think that we'll say the Republicans think they are more informed.
Well, the Pew Research poll actually showed exactly what you're saying, that
Yes.
it became to more 64% to 18%. It was pretty low. But what I'm going to do is next week we're going to actually talk about, I found a really great research poll and all kinds of information from them last week about that. And so we'll throw that on there next week because we're getting a little bit long in the tooth.
One thing,
here.
it's interesting that's going to, I really, really can't wait until the Republicans finally straighten out who's going to run.
Oh.
Because I really want to really get into some good discussions. I cannot wait for those debates to start and stuff because there's a lot of people that aren't really happy with Obama. There's a lot of Democrats that are really not happy with Obama. They think he gives in too much to the Republicans. And of course, there's not going to be one Republican in the whole world who likes him because they all stick together and they just won't vote for a Democrat.
Well, it's funny because Obama came out today to say, because, everybody likes to blame President Bush for the economy.
Mm-hmm.
And
the job numbers look good again, by the way, today.
well, we're going to talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk about that in a minute. President Obama came out to say, well, because he was asked, hey, do you take any responsibility for the economy? And he said, the buck always stops here, but this is something that has been in the works for 30 years. And it was the first time I've ever heard him say that, or a Democrat, not him, because he's always said, he blamed Bush at the beginning because he was running. But normally Democrats, just like yourself, always blame Bush right away. He did it. But do you really
What
know?
I've also said, though, is when we first talked about the national debt getting to its limit and they had to do all that negotiating and stuff, and this was before we were doing our show, you were asking me if it was Obama's fault. And I don't know if you remember what my answer was, but basically my answer was, there are a lot of factors and there are a lot of things that contributed to this, and you can go back a long ways what kind of put us on this road all the way back to Reagan, and you can
go back to Carter.
Yeah. But, I say Reagan because you were in love with him, so, and you could, but you would have to admit that some of this was started back then. But ultimately, what did I say? He's who's here now, so the buck stops with him. Just like when Gray Davis was recalled in California. Mm-hmm. He pointed to all the reasons why all this bad stuff was happening, but ultimately, he was the governor, and it falls on him. It falls on him. He needs to do a better job of making things better, and that's one of the things that I have against. I'm not really happy with Obama, and I think a lot of us. I think that he's given in too much. Unfortunately, Democrats always give in too much. The Republicans stand strong and they will not budge, just like you. What a freaking surprise. And the Democrats just give in. They just give in.
Got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything, sir.
You don't have to. You have to be able to. It has to be give and take. It can't be all take.
Well, the reason why this came up, and you could talk about it, is the new numbers came out for unemployment, and they are good. They are good. It shows that unemployment,
It's like
people filing for unemployment
268,
is down quite a lot.
Yeah.
Quite a lot. There's two factors. Well, there's more than thousands of factors.
Well,
but
you
there's
predicted, or your take on it was because of Christmas time.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it.
And we'll really know that more in say March, February and March.
One thing I'm a little bit worried about too is, as you know, the 90 weeks is up.
Yeah, but these aren't. What I did learn today is this is new applicants for unemployment. This isn't current. So whether the 90 weeks are up or not has no bearing on this.
Well, the question
these
is,
are new applications for unemployment.
But they didn't say there's job growth. They didn't say there's growth. They said there's less loss.
Yeah, I didn't see anything on growth. I know that
because that's what we want.
A couple weeks ago, they were talking about there was growth. I just didn't see anything on it today.
Yeah, you want growth.
Yeah,
growth is the main thing. And when they talk about these unemployment numbers, if you want to get stuck in that all day, you can get stuck in unemployment all the time. But remember, unemployment numbers are seasonal. Unemployment numbers are people going for new benefits. People going.
Well, when they say this is the best since 2008. So that's good,
Yeah. No, that's good. It's always good.
All we need to do is we need to keep moving in the right direction. I do think that our current president is slowly steering us out of the hole that we were driving towards with the last president. That's just the way I feel about it. I know you don't feel exactly that way.
No, I don't feel that way at all. But that's
fine.
different.
That doesn't make you right. That doesn't make me right. That doesn't make either one of us wrong. That makes both of us look and, we have our
The difference
opinion.
is I won't give in, but you will because you said Democrats give in.
You won't give in. You know.
No, come on. I'm just doing that to mess with you right now.
But it's true, too.
It is true. It's true. I won't give in. Because I stand for it, my friend.
And you believe in fantasy.
All right. You know what?
You're not an adult.
I want to get into. We're running way long,
I know.
but I just want to throw this out real quick. Can we do the Japan using a tsunami?
Yeah,
funds?
you wanted to do that last week.
I am absolutely against whaling in any which way, shape, or form. Now, it has nothing to do with my beliefs or religion, anything like that. And I understand that, and you know how, I don't know if you've heard me talk over the years, over the years, I'm always for free enterprise and business, but just like the people who made the buggy whip, you have to move on. Now, I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm upset that Japan still whales.
I have a couple different takes on this. I've talked about this before. I don't know. Everybody, when it comes to killing animals, unless you're an absolute rigid vegan, everybody else is a hypocrite, including you and including me.
Right.
Because
I'll go out and take a pig out of my farm. No problem.
You will eat
or a
pig.
Chicken.
You will eat chicken. But puppy dogs are too cute to eat.
Nope, I won't eat them.
See? So now that makes you a hypocrite.
Or horses, and now that's legal in the United States.
I've heard a couple different arguments for that, though, and it's actually might be better for the horses. So we can get into that another time. We'll talk about that another time.
I won't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not eating horse.
Don't eat it then.
I'm not gonna.
Don't eat it then. I won't eat mayonnaise because I think it's disgusting. I think it should be banned. Mayonnaise, and I won't eat skunk. I'll kill them, but I won't eat them.
No, but really, come on, let's talk about this.
Honestly, everybody has a different line. We talked about this before. Everybody just has a different line. So, first of all, it's what you have to make a law. I guess, unfortunately, the lawmakers have to decide where the line's going to be, and you need to fall on any side of it. And they have passed a law that says the whales are on the non-edible side of the line. And what these people
from they're trying to get them into extinction.
Exactly. And my
then
guess
they're
is,
gone for future generations to enjoy.
And I agree. I completely agree with that too. And I have no problem with whales being banned from being hunted. I watched that Whale Wars show. Mm-hmm. My wife watches that with me.
I support that show.
We like that show. We like that. I think the captain's a little bit
he's crazy. Nah, he's straight out insane.
But he's a little bit.
He's doing his job.
I almost want to use the words dishonest a little bit sometimes.
You mean like when he got shot that time?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I understand for him, it's for the cause, is the way he looks at it. But the thing that bothers me is what the Japanese do is they find this little loophole.
Yeah, research. They're lying.
Well,
research. How much research are they really doing when it's in packages and they're selling it?
What they've done is they've found their loophole. Now,
how much monkey meat do you eat? Because they do research on monkeys.
Right. Wait, let's
Well, I'm so upset about them.
And the thing is, I enjoy the Whale Wars. I do enjoy that program, but at the same time, I sometimes look at the fleet trying to stop the whalers, and I'm thinking, who are you? They have found a loophole in the law. Instead of going out there and, blocking their boats, which, believe me, I'm cheering for them when they're blocking the boats, even though what they're doing, I think is... yeah,
they are. That's their industry that they're destroying. But
let's work on closing the loophole. Let's work on closing the loophole instead of becoming the international whale police, Just like we talked about the flag, who are you, the flag police? It's the same thing, It is the same thing. It's just on a different level. We're applying it to something different, And even though what they're doing is technically them making themselves the whale police, I still root for them because I don't want the whales to be killed, I do agree also that they they are becoming extinct, you know. And I think that if we start running out of cows, they might start to pass laws that you can't go to McDonald's
definitely
anymore.
would.
You know,
They definitely
we just
would.
got a ton of them.
Well, it's illegal if you're an American to go whaling.
Yeah.
It's illegal. It's
Yeah.
illegal here. You know, and the Japanese.
Oh, you didn't even get to the story. That you
No,
wanted to talk
but I
about.
want to go over
Yeah.
a couple other things too,
Yeah.
because you know I did a
The
lot
whole
of
reason you
research on
brought
this.
it up, though. Go ahead.
My hero, President Reagan, back in the 80s, he told the Japanese straight out he loves whales, and if you don't adhere to the International Whaling Commission's guidelines, you will no longer be using any fishing areas that the U.S. has. And he did that as executive order.
Mm-hmm.
President Bush said that a whale is a free animal and should live its life happily. President Obama, at the beginning, was the same, and then right now they're trying to work a deal to to curtail the sea shepherds if Japan promises to cut their whaling operations in like less than half.
Well,
But I don't think he'll go for it either, because he had also said that, you know, it's illegal.
how many whales? Do you know what the number is? How many whales they're allowed to catch? What their quota is?
1,000 of this one type of whale.
See, the thing is,
50 sperm whale. I don't have. I
if
had all
you-
the numbers earlier.
If you cut the quotas down to something that the scientific community will say that is a number good for research, then I think that you really wouldn't get too
Do
many
you think
arguments.
1,000 of
Seems like a
anything
lot.
is a lot for research?
Seems like
what
a
are they
lot.
doing? Are
I'm
they
not a
asking it how it's
scientist.
going to vote?
I'm not a scientist, so I don't know. To me, it seems like a lot.
I think it is. We're weighing stomach contents of
Yeah.
1,000 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, look, they all eat about
Yeah.
10,000 pounds.
But we're still selling the meat. Now, maybe they need to
Well, they
do...
have to. That's part of it too. The law, the International Whaling Commission does have a law that if you do slaughter one of these beautiful animals, then you have to use every part of it. You can't waste it.
Yeah, but what if they made it, you had to use it, but you couldn't make money off of it or something?
That would be great.
You know, I mean, my idea is let's close the loopholes, you know?
My idea is Japan has been known, and I'm taking this with you, Japan. I'm taking it right up with you. You have been known to destroy the oceans by taking everything you can get. Your assault right now is on bluefin tuna. You will destroy that whole thing of bluefin tuna. You will take every single one of those oceans, and that's the way you people are. And that is exactly it. And then they're going after the whales, and they're going to take it for future generations. And let me tell you something. I have ancestors.
Yeah, it is not our right.
You're going to not have them because you will keep taking until they're
It is
gone.
not our right as humans to ruin it for the rest of them, and we can get into for the rest of the future generations, and we can get into global warming and stuff at a later date, because that's another subject we can talk about for that too.
So let's get into the story.
Yes.
The story is that they're spending 2.3 billion yen, which is $29 million, from its supplementary budget for the Tsunami Reconstruction Fund to fund the country's annual whale hunt. They were not okay. Here's the thing:
Did this money come from us?
it came from their fund. I mean, it does say that all these governments sent they got a total of $230 billion. Some from the United States, some from,
So they're using money from the countries gave them to rebuild, and they're using it to fund their whale hunt.
Of course they are, because that's what they do. But the thing is, what I'm upset about is, well, one, they shouldn't do it. The second thing is they're saying, well, our fishing fleet did get destroyed with a tsunami. Okay, good. But you know what? Your whaling fleet wasn't there. Your whaling fleet was down in the Arctic Ocean, or the Southern Arctic Ocean, whatever the heck that's called, and it didn't get affected by it. Matter of fact, they left early to go help with the tsunami effort. So, yeah, okay, fix your ships that you're taking all the bluefin tuna. Fix those ones, but don't turn around and spend 2.3 billion yen to go down and do whale wars. Anyway, that's my thing on it, and
you actually got me into that whale war show. I actually enjoy it just for the drama of the show.
Yeah, and you should give money like everybody else in the world should. All right, so that's pretty much it, little boy.
Yeah, I think that
the
I don't know
show's
how
way
far.
long.
I don't know how far. Long
I think it's long. I'm not bored of it, but I'm sure we lost 10%
Yeah.
of our 5 or 6 people. So, let's give some information. Also, I love our new set. I hope everybody likes it. Give us some ideas of some other sets. This is actually kind of real, but there's backdrops.
We gotta suggest a topic from somebody. There's a YouTube video out there. I just wanted to let you know we did get that. We didn't get a chance to really go through it yet, and we will go through it and see if it's how interesting it is to talk about it. So we'll bring that up. Another thing that I wanted to mention again is if you are interested in podcasting or netcasting or video casting, and you're in the San Diego area, contact us. It doesn't matter what your show. You don't have to do a show on politics. You don't have to do a show with 2 people fighting, with somebody who's right and somebody who's wrong. You can do it on just about anything, I mean, I think we want to keep whatever you're talking about, keep it on the legal side, but just about anything. If it's interesting to you, come sit down and do it. I think it's fun, it's easy, and we have all the equipment, we have the studio, we have the sets, we have everything. So come on down and join our family. Yeah,
you'll talk to both of us, but actually you'll sit down with Littleboy and he'll work it out with you.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny you just said that, and as you said that, we received a email from William French.
Okay.
And he also wants to talk about global warming. So,
interesting.
I don't know how he knew we were talking a little bit about global warming because we're not on live yet. But okay, good.
Perfect timing.
All right, Mr. French, we'll do that.
We'll go over that and we'll come up with something for next week.
Pretty sure William French was on. It was a TV show.
Well, maybe it's a made-up name.
Yeah, I'm thinking. If you ever have any questions, you could contact the show at comments@fatmanandlittleboy.com or go to our website and go to suggest a link.
Yep.
You could get in touch with Littleboy.
I'm at Littleboy at Littleboy at fatmanandlittleboy.com, and I'm also on Twitter at Littleboy Show.
And I am Fatman at fatmanandlittleboy.com. Of course, on the website you can do where you can contact me as well, and on Twitter at Fatman Show. And sorry for my Twitter followers, I have not been on there that much this week. We are in the process of moving. So.
Yeah. Also, if you download our podcast, go back on there and search again, because we had to actually move all of our shows. And so now if you search, we're going to show up there twice. And right now, both of the podcasts are being updated. Eventually, we're going to be just updating the new one. And you can see it by our new logo. The logo is different. If you go on there and you search for Fat Man Little Boy in iTunes, you'll see 2 different shows. They're all going to have the same episodes, but the one with the new logo is the one that's going to eventually be the only one that's updated anymore.
And I don't know how much longer that is.
Yeah.
We have new shows coming out that will be also on our website and a couple other things. Not with Littleboy or myself, but
we will have. We do have some new shows. We really do.
You can always give us a phone call too. 858-522-9164. Leave us a voicemail. If it's a good voicemail, we'll play it on the show. Again, I'm sorry. I did forget to put the voicemails up. I don't know.
Will.
You know what?
We keep saying we'll play them. I promise we will. Keep calling. We will.
We will. We'll get some good ones in there. And other than that,
one of these days, all we're going to worry about is doing the show, because right now we got so much other stuff going with the show. We don't have enough time to always concentrate on just the actual broadcast. And we'll when things are changing, and they're changing fast. We've only been doing this a few months, and we've gone from sitting on the couch talking on microphones to a new studio, so it's been unbelievable.
That's true.
Yes.
And you could tell them the first couple of podcasts that we had out was old equipment that didn't work, and we actually had to wrap leads in foil. And
if it was on video, you have got a real kick out of it, because it was very, very, let's just say, minor league. And we're still minor league, but we're maybe
minor league. Come on now, that was like a
maybe we're up to AA now.
All right, Littleboy, it's been a good show. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that I went a little long.
Yeah, happens.
And
that's it.
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
All right. This has been our podcast for the 3rd week of December.
Yep.
And we'll see you real soon.
Take care.